It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and celebrating 50 years on 89.3 Lakes FM of community programming. I'm Tyler Keefe. Thank you so much for being with us today. Our top story comes from the West Bloomfield School District, which has taken the next step in providing education and vocational training to all kinds of emerging adults with special needs close to home at West Bloomfield High School. Civic Center TV reporter Jake Schaff has the story.
The West Bloomfield School District is dedicated to helping every student they can, and for some students, that extends beyond the typical high school years. As just recently, the West Bloomfield Transitional Center officially opened up right here at West Bloomfield High School, a gateway for young adults with special needs to help prepare them for what's to come in the next stage of their life, and to get them ready to tackle the world head on.
You know, we're very excited about this project and what it means for our students and families. To be able to bring this program on site at the high school is going to allow them a lot of amenities to use that were not available at their previous site. I think all of the spaces are unique and provide our students the experiences they need to be, you know, successful, independent adults as they make their way through. So each space, as you can see, whether it's the lab, the work lab, or the demonstration kitchen, or the apartment setting, it's teaching real life skills and providing them an environment that replicates kind of life outside of school and giving those experiences so that our staff can help, you know, support their independence as they grow older.
It feels absolutely amazing. We've waited several years for this to come to fruition, and so to finally be in this space and showing people around and being able to move all of our things here, it feels absolutely amazing.
What are some of the key things that the Transitional Center is hoping to provide for people here in West Bloomfield?
We want to provide services for students with disabilities who are 19 to 26 years old. We really want to help them with their vocational skills, their community engagement, but also with daily living skills. So we want to make sure that once they leave here at the age of 26, they can be somewhat functional human beings outside of the building.
What's been the response so far from some of the kids and even some of their parents?
They are super excited. I think so far the kitchen is everyone's favorite space. It's so big, it's so beautiful, and they are looking forward to getting in there and really making some awesome recipes.
So we are very fortunate that our school board helped raise this and put this together for us. Yeah, it's very exceptional and unique and very exciting for us. It just lets us know that they value us and that we have a place in this community, and they're excited and open arms to including us.
We could be the gold standard for other districts and their programs. That would be really awesome. I would love for other schools to come in and kind of check out our space and maybe even do the same with them and possibly expand our program even more than it is now.
My hope is that people see is that our community is really dedicated to creating a systems of schools so that each individual is successful within the West Bloomfield School District, that we're really trying to meet the individual needs of each student and providing them with those spaces and opportunities so that they're successful when they leave us.
So many incredible qualities and additions that have been added right here to West Bloomfield High School, and every single one of them is meant to help as many students as possible and to make sure that some of the challenges that come with adulthood aren't so scary. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Looks like an impressive space, Jake, and I had a chance while they were undergoing some of the construction early on after it started to open up and not be a hard hat zone to sort of roam through that on school board meeting nights or while over there for high school basketball tournament games. A really impressive space, as you saw a little bit of that's going to have such a huge impact on helping kids who are just emerging into their adulthood and those approaching their mid-20s that are looking to be independent, looking to get into the job market, looking to get out on on their own and just need that last little bit of assistance to learn some of those life skills and really hone in those life skills, this is going to be the place that they do that, and it's going to be fantastic for the West Bloomfield School District. You can learn more about the West Bloomfield Transition Center's brand new spaces at West Bloomfield High School on WBSD.org and by visiting their Facebook page at West Bloomfield Schools. Close to home in Keego Harbor, a gloomy day didn't stop residents of the Heart of the Lakes from volunteering in their city, getting Keego ready for a beautiful season of events ahead. I visited Willow Beach to learn more. Every year, rain or shine, Mary Burke is one of the volunteers who gives up a weekend afternoon to get her hands dirty helping her neighbors, an effort she says connects her to friends and her home.
When you come down here and you see all those leaves clogging up the canal, and you know that just a couple hours of work with 10 people could, make a big difference like that. It's just kind of fun to get a pitchfork in your hand. I'm a youper, and I was used to working around the water, so I saw the need, and it's a great group of people that work together every year, and I like to volunteer.
Kirsten Sonneville Douglas was, as usual, among the people giving their time and hard work for the cleanup as she begins her busy spring and summer of spearheading events, but says it's volunteers like Mary Burke and others that drive summer fun across the Heart of the Lakes.
We love our community, right? Everyone says Keego's got heart. We really do. I mean, there's no doubt about it when you look at the people that are volunteering and just trying to give back. So they want to make sure that they're making their community better. Mary Burke, I have to give her a shout out. She's always out here with her hat on in the cold, whether it's raining, snowing. The Willow Beach residents will help during the year to kind of help maintain it as well. So I have to make sure we acknowledge them. And then we've got Parks and Rec commissioners. We're all volunteers out here doing the heavy lifting today, literally heavy lifting.
The annual Willow Beach Canal cleanup is the de facto start of the spring-summer calendar for Keego Parks and Rec, but serves a far more important purpose than simply readying the parks for fun and games.
Fran Leaf Park has that pond, but there's a canal that leads out here to Cass Lake, and when the leaves from the winter or the fall in the winter come and get pushed into the canal, then we end up with like sewage smell, we can end up with extra critters that we don't want, and then just backing up of that canal.
These are our parks, and we have to start taking care of them if we want to enjoy them, and we don't want the wildlife to, go into peril because we're neglecting what we can do. So, it's a beautiful area, and we have to respect the beautiful land we've been given here in Keego.
Keego's volunteers say a little bit of your time can make a massive difference in the community and hope more people will get involved in continuing Keego Harbor's tradition of tender, loving care amongst neighbors.
We're always looking for younger people to help us because we were saying we're aging out of doing this pretty soon because it's really physical work.
So fun. I joke around that our commission's the fun commission, right? We're the ones that throw the parties. We do this work too. We've got our block parties coming up. We can get some help from the Memorial Day events. And so there's always something to do. You don't have to join the commission. We would love for people to join the commission, but even just giving an hour or 2 hours of their time will really make it a little bit easier for all of us.
You can get involved too. There's so many opportunities for volunteering all throughout the spring, the summer, the fall, and even some of their winter events throughout the rest of this calendar year. We saw so many volunteers hard at work on that very chilly day. They were out there for about 3 hours plus, clearing some of that leaf litter and other materials out of that canal, cleaning it all up and getting Willow Beach looking really nice. And it was hard work. Dragging those leaves across the park like that was not easy for Paul, for Leslie, for Julie, Kirsten, Mary, and the whole team out there from Keego Harbor Parks and Rec. If you'd like to get involved, you can visit Facebook at KH Parks or KeegoHarbor.org for more information on Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation events all spring, summer, and fall. Graduation is coming, but so are scholarships. Applications are open for scholarships ranging from $500 to $1,500 for students, courtesy of the Optimist Club of Keego Harbor. But the application deadline is coming up. About 1 more month left to go before those apps are due in. May 16th is the deadline. Those applications due on the website KeegoHarborOptimist.org/scholarship. Again, that website KeegoHarbor.org So see Keego Harbor optimist.org/scholarships, my apology. Kids applying must be Keego Harbor residents or either be working in Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, or Orchard Lake per the post from the Optimist Club of Keego Harbor. Again, plenty of more information is available. What are the requirements, what you need to submit these scholarship applications, Keego Harbor optimist.org/scholarship for even more information. Hey, look, it's $500 here, $1,000 here, $1,500 here. Goes a long way. Books are expensive, and with the economy being what it is today, not looking like it's going to be any less expensive anytime soon for our students, making a huge impact on college campuses all across the country from right here in the heart of the lakes. You can support those scholarship funds with a fun night out this week, Tuesday, in Keego Harbor, when Keego's Optimists will host their monthly charity euchre tournament at Gino's Pizzeria and Restaurant on Cass Lake Road. It's not just friendly competition either. Pizza, soft drinks, and some darn good company are all part of the deal. It's just $25 to enter with cash prizes for both the winners and the runner-up of the tournament as well. To sign up, all you got to do is send an email to the president. Is President Mike 930@icloud.com. Again, that email, President Mike 930@icloud.com. There's also more information on the Gino's Pizzeria and Restaurant Facebook page at 1999 Cass LKRD. Coming this summer, a chance to learn from a Detroit basketball legend. MSU and Pistons legend Gregory Kelser's 2025 basketball camp is returning to West Bloomfield High School July 21st through the 25th for ages 7 through 17. From beginning to experienced players learn various drills and exercises along with shooting and playing techniques to improve your skills on the hardwood. Interact with area coaches and players and go home a winner with Greg Kelser and company. More information and registration open as we speak. The QR code is currently on your screen at the top right. We'll leave it there for a moment and give you the website, GregoryKelser.com. Again, GregoryKelser.com. Look, Pistons are in the playoffs. Gregory Kelser hard at work analyzing Cade Cunningham and the crew, currently the 6th seed in the playoffs. Your kids could be on their way there. A great first step is to learn from local legends and supportive crew there as well. Highly encourage you to go to our website on demand, CivicCenterTV.com, and look up Gregory Kelser Basketball Camp. Peyton Skyver, our intern from last summer, did a fantastic story about the history of that camp, which originated right here in the greater West Bloomfield area. Future sports legends are about to begin their careers straight out of the WB. Multiple West Bloomfield Lakers football greats are on their way to the NFL draft coming up in just a few weeks. Someone who knows quite a bit about their journey is former Lakers assistant coach Daryl Bingham, who recently spoke to our team's Jake Schaff right here on the Splash Live. Here's their conversation.
West Bloomfield assistant football coach Daryl Bingham. Daryl, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I am great. I'm sure you're feeling great too as the draft is quickly approaching. And what does it mean for you to see so many of your former players declare for the NFL draft this year?
Well, outside of sitting back and feeling like a proud uncle, if you will, some of the kids I actually had a chance to know their whole life. So, for instance, take Donovan. I've known Donovan since he was born. His dad is a close friend and fraternity brother of mine. His mom went to high school with my wife at that time. I remember, us working with him and working through the challenges when his mom died at a young age and just watching him mature into the young man that he's become. I am so proud of him. Max Hairston. Max Hairston played for our youth football program for a long period of time. And the great thing about Max actually is probably as good of a basketball player as he is a football player. And to see him make the leap and excel in football at the level that he has, it's just baffling. His NFL combine was, like the kid said, he's about to put on a show, and he did exactly that. And that's the one thing I love about Max. Max isn't a competitor. He's going to give you everything he has. Jason Williams, winning the number of national championships that he's won up there at Fair State in Division II is just phenomenal. So I look forward to when he has his pro day. Jason is a young man who I saw as a toddler on the youth field when I was coaching youth football. At the time, I was coaching his cousin, and his dad would always come out and support his cousin. And Jason would always come around on the field, and I just watched him from the first time he actually touched the football to the time he's gone into college. I'm so proud of him. Comes from an excellent family, very supportive, very loving, and a big football family. So I'm excited to see his journey. And Lance Dixon. Lance Dixon, I had the opportunity to go down to his pro day at Toledo on Monday, and Lance did a great job. The thing I love about Lance is a hybrid player that even though he played the outside linebacker, because of his speed, you can move him to the safety position. He comes down and he delivers a great blow on a hit. He could be a great addition. I'd say the last person, Makari Page. Makari Page has probably been the quiet person throughout this time frame, but Makari, is and always has been kind of like a freak of nature, to have a safety that big and to play Division I and to, Makari has excellent speed. Makari loves to hit, loves contact. And Makari is a young man that he's a student of the game. He's going to sit back and he's going to study everything that he needs in order to improve in the opportunity that exists for him.
Well, you are covering a lot of great players, and you're absolutely right. Every single one of them has had that passion for football since a very young age. And we're actually going to show you a clip right now of Max Hairston when we had him on This Week in Laker Football all the way back in 2019, talking to our very own Dave Scott about some of his favorite activities outside of football and what he takes away from the sport.
I always like to ask this at the end of these interviews. What do you do when you're not practicing or playing football? What do you do with your time for the fun of it?
You got to watch film. I watched 3 hours last night.
There's no fun. It's football season. Well, come on. I mean, don't you like play video games, or you got a hobby or something you do when you're not working on football?
I'll take a break, but I got to get back to the film.
It's always studying that film, and that shows you how passionate he is about this sport. How does it feel to look back and see how much passion these players have always had for the sport of football?
Coming from a program that had to build from the ground up to compete in, as far as I'm concerned, the toughest conference in the state of Michigan, the OAA, and to have to deal with creating a name for themselves, not walking into a legacy, but creating the legacy. I am so enthused by the lessons that they've learned and they've been able to carry with them. And it doesn't just transcend into football, it transcends into everything that they do and everything that they touch, the work ethic, the discipline, the focus, the fact that no matter what I do, I have to become a student of it, embrace it, live it, and work at it every single day. It just does a coach very proud. And I can't say more about the guys. As great as they are as football players, they're better human beings. And that says volumes to the work they put in development of themselves and the family that they have around them, not only blood family, but the extended family that they have around them, and nurturing them to become great human beings.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it any better myself. They live and breathe football. And each of these players has had a different path to the NFL draft. How did West Bloomfield help them prepare for the next level?
I had an opportunity to talk to Max when Max was in prep. And, during that time frame, they kind of shut down from a lot of communication. So it's funny. I just sent him a text and say, "Hey, I'm praying for you, son. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. Just know that we back here at home. We love you and we're praying for you." And later on that night, it had probably about 9 o'clock at night. He said, "Hey, Coach, I'm so sorry I missed your text and I missed your call." He said, "I just want to reach out to you." I said, "I just want to say I love you." And from a community standpoint, that support is what we're able to provide. All the young men, they actually have found trainers. They found their agents and everything to help position them to get ready for this draft. If they needed access to the facility, they definitely had access to it. But for the most part, most of them were away and they were training with other young men who were preparing for the draft to make sure that they had access to a competition level that they would see when they went into their drills at the draft.
For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have retired assistant coach of the West Bloomfield High School football team, Daryl Bingham, talking about his feelings on seeing so many of his former players make it to the NFL draft and hopefully take the next step into the NFL. And Daryl, as a coach, how rewarding is it to see your former players achieve their dreams at the highest level?
It means the world. We sit back and we talk and we preach about the future and what it takes to get there. It is great when you see the manifestation of it. It's even better when you see them walking in it and embracing it, and in doing it in such a way with class and with style that we demanded of them and that they always presented when they were here at West Bloomfield. And now that they've left our community and we no longer have those day-to-day ties to them, to see that they still walk within the structure and the discipline and the knowledge that has been passed on to them from the West Bloomfield community. I'm just so proud of our boys. I can't say enough about our West Bloomfield kids.
Absolutely. You should be very proud on everything they've accomplished. And what advice would you give them as they take the next step in their careers?
Biggest thing, remember the statement that I would always say to them when we were in practice: from whence come you? Know and understand the responsibility that you carry from the community that you come from, and live in that. Walk upright, be forthright in everything that you do, and commit. And more importantly, we were blessed with Coach Bellamy during that time frame, and Coach Bellamy, with the U of M pedigree and the U of M training, one of the things that he would always reiterate to them: the team. Remember, hey, you didn't get here by yourself. So while you're walking in that pathway, make sure you support those who are walking with you, and also reach back. Be a conduit and a vessel for others who want to gain that knowledge and to gain that wisdom and what it takes to get there, so that they understand and they can see, feel, and touch someone who came from the same community that they did, and understand this is possible, but this is what it's going to take in order to get there.
That's absolutely right. They are impacting every single person they can. And you just touched on it a little bit right there. They're impacting the future players that will play with West Bloomfield. I've got another clip I want to show you at his signing day event, covered by media from across the nation in 2020. Donovan Edwards gave future Lakers words of encouragement on how they can become Laker greats just like him.
Man, just stay patient, man. Like, when your opportunity come, you got to seize your opportunity, man. Like, as well as that being said, like, you got to come in with the mentality, like, man, like, I'm about to dominate this. I got to dominate, what's going on right here. And it's like, I feel as though, like, as a player of a high caliber, you just got to have the mentality to be the best every single day.
And he certainly has shown that mentality every single game. But that poses a good question. How do their successes impact the current and future players at West Bloomfield?
It impacts in a great way. It's nice to know and to be comfortable and familiar with the legacy that you inherit. And that's what we tell a lot of our players right now, is that your job is to continue the legacy. It's just kind of like, like I say to my sons, you inherited a last name because of birthright coming from my family line, but it is your responsibility to uphold that last name and to excel it beyond yourself. So the young people that come behind them, the young men that come behind them, they inherited the legacy of all the things that all our great players in the past have done, even to the extent, I don't want to leave out this one person because he's probably the first from our community who did it big, and that's Matt Judon, with a lot of the things that they've been able to do. But it is your job and your responsibility, your didactic, your moral responsibility to uphold and to excel it beyond yourself, because there is someone coming beyond you. And when they come behind you, you want to make sure that they have the same character, the same sense of discipline and responsibility that has been instilled in you. As a result of that, we've seen our players, begin to understand, I can do this. And not only can I do this, I can do this at the next level, but I got to commit. And that's one of the toughest things to teach a high schooler, especially in the transition that we're seeing in the college game. when you have a kid where you sit back and you got to help them understand, yeah, it may be tough. You may not be that Division I offer anymore because of the transfer portal. You might wind up going a Division II route and then transferring into a Division I school later on. It helps them understand no matter what the walk is, stay committed, stay focused, stay disciplined, and stay true to trying to fulfill the responsibility of the legacy.
Spoken like a true coach. Daryl, thank you so much for stopping by with us here on the Splash Live. One more really quick question before we let you go, though. What's some advice you could offer to current high school kids who are looking to make it to the big stage like this batch of players hopes to do in just a little bit?
The path is different. It's not difficult. It's just different now. Like I mentioned, because of the portal, it does change a lot of things at the collegiate level. But if you focus, the one thing that we've learned about professional sports, if you're good, they will find you. Just do your job and do your job 100% of the time.
That's absolutely right, and they're certainly going to be putting in the work to hopefully make it to the big stage like Donovan, Max, and everybody else declaring for the draft this year. Daryl, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you, and go Lakers.
Appreciate Coach Bingham and his insight on the stars who are going to now be stars on the football field at the next level in the NFL. Many of them expected to be drafted in the opening rounds, and hopefully we'll see a sweep of Lakers all having their names called across draft day weekend coming up in just a few weeks. We know about guys like Donovan Edwards who were expected to be there from really their first game on the field at West Bloomfield High School, someone that I'm really proud of looking at this field of Lakers going into the NFL draft is Maxwell Hairston. Coach Bingham said it himself, one of those last comments to Jake, that if you just do your job out on the gridiron, great things will happen coming out of this program. That's what he always did. His job was to get in front of the football and make plays and make big stops. I used to call him, calling games, the best hands in the land. He continued that tradition in Lexington, Kentucky for 4 years playing at the University of Kentucky. And look now, he's about to be a first-round pick potentially in the NFL draft. Congratulations to all of them. We'll be following along and rooting for our Lakers going forward. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, as the weather starts to warm, hopefully sooner or later over here, we'll see more of our wildlife emerge, including deer. That means a larger population of these animals will be in your yard. How is that going to impact you, and how can you help them stay safe as they enjoy spring and summer here in Greater West Bloomfield as well? Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depressing stuff. That's what white people think. You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Tyler Keefe. Thank you so much for joining us and, as always, for following along with all of our action, both on the Splash Live and other special programming, always available 24/7 on CivicCenterTV.com and across our social media, Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. You can also find us on YouTube, on X, and on Instagram at Civic Center TV. As spring continues to emerge and with warmer weather on its way comes an increase in deer activity in environmentally friendly communities like ours here in Greater West Bloomfield. So, how do we help keep our properties secure and also help our local wildlife as they roam around our town, keep them safe and enjoy our great natural areas here across our community? The Michigan Department of Natural Resources, Chad Fedowa, joined me recently to provide some more insight. Here is our conversation. Michigan Department of Natural Resources with their wildlife biologist Chad Fedowa joining us now for more on the Splash Live. Chad, thank you so much for being with us.
Sure, happy to be here.
Happy to have you on to talk about this because it's something that maybe we're not necessarily seeing being a big problem right now in Greater West Bloomfield with higher populations of deer all throughout our community. But as the weather warms and they start to roam and get out and about more often, we're going to see a lot more of them in our community. So what sets up Greater West Bloomfield for being sort of a hotbed in Oakland County for large populations of deer roaming around?
As you mentioned, there's a lot of good habitat and green space for them. And no surprise, in this area, urbanization, expansion, has happened a lot since the 1960s. Back then, there weren't a lot of deer in the southern lower peninsula. But over time, we have seen deer numbers increase, and particularly in urban and suburban areas, mainly in the last 10 to 15 years, where we're starting to see some negative impacts due to overabundance in some areas. So deer have adapted and adjusted to living around people. Like we mentioned, there's plenty of food sources, sometimes human-assisted. We have people feeding deer intentionally. But in these areas, there's often very low mortality rates. We have very few predators and, of course, some mild winters, so we don't have a lot of natural mortality for deer. So they've become very comfortable around people, particularly when we're not seen as a predator, and we're often seen more as a potential food source.
And so as that happens and these deer find local areas to be viable places to habitat and also to find and graze for that food, what sort of challenges does that bring up for our local communities and not just managing this wildlife from a safety standpoint, but the ways that it impacts that wildlife, the additional wildlife in our local area?
Sure. So you have to remember that we do have, our deer they have evolved as a prey species. So, they're programmed to reproduce a lot of offspring, and, with most predators eliminated from the landscape, legal regulated hunting has been the tool for helping manage deer populations in the state in the last 75 to 100 years. So, in general, that's worked pretty well in rural areas to kind of maintain the population to a more suitable status based on the habitat that's available to support them. But it's become a challenge in urban areas due to safety concerns around hunting. So a lot of communities have historic ordinances that prevent hunting or the use of firearms and archery equipment. So as deer abundance in these areas continue to grow and impact the landscape around them, communities have been looking for options and potentially removing some of those restrictions and opening up areas to legal regulated hunting, is that still the tool of choice for managing deer populations. And urban archery hunting can be done safely, and we do have examples of that across the state.
And Chad, we know that in Greater West Bloomfield, we value the wildlife, West Bloomfield Township and the Tri-Cities equally, and the population of our community, our residents, also love to look out their window and see the deer. But as they're seeing these increased populations, and you mentioned it, hunting in a residential area on public or private land is not permitted in West Bloomfield or in our Tri-Cities in the Greater West Bloomfield community. So what are some other ways that landowners in our community can help to manage the deer population outside of, as you mentioned, hunting, which is a highly effective tool used in other places?
And so for starters, having people not intentionally feeding deer, we like to watch them, we like to see them in our backyards, but intentionally feeding deer can artificially congregate deer. That can cause some health issues for deer if there's any diseases present in that herd. But it also creates a nuisance in some cases, and then deer transition to eating, other things, landscaping and other shrubs and things in people's, around people's houses. So, trying to eliminate deer even from eating on bird feeders if you can protect, deer from getting into those bird feeders and eating the seed off the ground. That kind of helps them, not congregating in these areas. There are some more, and there's nothing that's truly deer resistant as far as landscaping, but there are certain species of plants and shrubs that are less tolerant for deer. So they may not be as likely to browse on those. So there are a list of those things you can find online as well. It is important to develop some level of tolerance to these deer. I mean, they're not going away. We've created a perfect environment for them. It's got a good, safe habitat for them, available food. It's really created a good situation for them in a lot of places.
Chad Fiedel was with us from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, or the DNR, on today's edition of the Splash Live. As we address the increased population of deer we're seeing in residential communities in Oakland County, and in particular in greater West Bloomfield, where again 2/3 of our community's land is viable space for habitat for these deer. So Chad, I'd imagine too, especially in highly populated residential areas like greater West Bloomfield and Oakland County here in southeast Michigan, another big concern with the rising deer population has to be traffic safety hazards, because they are roaming across our roads. I drive home at night from our studio here on Walnut Lake Road, and often as I'm going up toward Drake Road, there are deer crossing the street, and sometimes it's a big surprise, and you got to really be prepared to make a sudden stop. So how do you manage that from the DNR's perspective with local road commissions, with local communities, to try to, maybe if you're not able to counteract the hazards that come from deer, help to increase the awareness of that, or maybe even prevent some of these accidents in partnership with our road authorities?
Yeah, so obviously, we do have some road commissions will put up signage in areas where they have, high car deer vehicle collisions. But yeah, in absence of, some tool or regulated hunting to try to minimize those deer on the landscape, it is quite a challenge. We do have, some road commissions, some local units of government do try to, make people more aware of those areas that are that tend to have more of those collisions, and it is a challenge. There's not a really great solution to it.
And so lastly, Chad, what is your message for residents in our community in terms of their ability to stay informed on ways that they can help manage the deer population in our community, along with our partners from West Bloomfield Parks, from the Michigan DNR, and other organizations?
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, you're kind of developing a certain level of tolerance for deer in an area. They're we've created the perfect environment for them in a lot of cases, and as they get more comfortable living in and around people, we're starting to see that happen more often. So, if there is an option for some legal regulated hunting to happen in the community or some surrounding communities, that's certainly going to be a long-term solution to help regulate some of those numbers when they become too abundant for the habitat to support. So overabundance does lead to a lot of negative impacts, and certainly on those ecological landscapes and our forests, and even health issues for deer. And no one really wants to see deer suffering because there's too many for the habitat to support.
We care about our wildlife here in the greater West Bloomfield area, and here's some great advice on how you can continue that care from one of our experts himself. Chad Fiedel with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem.
Great advice from Chad and the team at the Michigan DNR. You can also get even more advice on local wildlife support from right here in our community from West Bloomfield Parks. Their naturals team always available to answer your questions, whether it's about native plants to help encourage more of our wildlife community to have a vibrant spring and summer, or to help out your yard and our local ecosystems, or ways that you can support our local wildlife animals like deer, leaving them unharmed while also maybe leading them away from being in your yards this spring and summer. WBparks.org is their website for even more information. April is Autism Awareness Month, and for parents of kids and adults on the spectrum, having an extra helping hand in the community can be critical in making sure that your loved one on the spectrum reaches their exceptional potential. Here to tell us about some of their programs available to help people on the autism spectrum close to home is Riley Fowler, a board-certified behavior analyst at Bright Behavior Therapy in West Bloomfield. Riley, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Happy to have you on to talk about this because people sort of have misconceptions of how autism manifests itself and how it impacts the lives of those that are on the spectrum. It manifests in so many different ways and affects every different patient differently than the next. So what are some of the interventions that are available here in Greater West Bloomfield that help people on the spectrum at all different stages of life?
Yeah, so here at Bright, we do offer, our core service is a center-based ABA, which means that all of our kids come to one location, and we focus on skill acquisition, social skills, and preparing children for transitions like starting school. We incorporate play-based and naturalistic teaching methods to make learning motivating and engaging for the children. Rather than just relying solely on those structured drills, like sitting at a table and asking them multiple questions. In addition, we offer parent training sessions that can be conducted virtually or in person, whether that is here at our center, in their home, or in the community, such as playgrounds, stores, or even dentists, which allows us to help those children practice social interactions, safety awareness, and adaptability into real-world settings. And we also offer some occupational and speech therapy through the Hosler Center as well to ensure that we are not only just targeting one aspect, but all of the aspects of autism that's going to help that child grow.
And what is so remarkable about people that are on the autism spectrum is that when they do have some of those hands-on experiences, and as they do build those calluses, so to speak, with some of those life skills like going to appointments or cleaning their home environment, that they do become so much more comfortable with that through that immersive therapy. And so how do you tailor those programs to help them get into those sometimes uncomfortable at first situations for them, but develop those skills and really turn those into good habits that then go on and last them for a lifetime?
Yeah, so we start with a detailed assessment to understand the child's current skill levels, behavioral challenges, communication abilities, and social skills, along with those daily living skills, such as like toothbrushing, which allows us to focus on maybe dentist appointments. And then based on those assessment results, I go in and I design a treatment plan with specific measurable goals that are tailored to the child's developmental stage and personal interest. And here at Bright, we do have a mock dentist chair and hair cutting environment that allows us to really practice those skills before even transitioning into that real life scenario. So it's a really good way for us to ease into those scary, unfamiliar environments for that child.
Riley Fowler is with us from Bright Behavior Therapy in West Bloomfield as we recognize April as Autism Awareness Month here on the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Riley, you mentioned it a bit earlier on. We know that there are so many other programs through our local schools. Earlier on this month, we recognized the new West Bloomfield Transition Center space at West Bloomfield High School that has some of those immersive programs that are available in those spaces that will help kids on the spectrum and adults on the spectrum get more familiar with those spaces. But what you mentioned was involving families in these processes. That's a really important role too, because for so many of these individuals' lives, that familial unit really is their rock that helps support them as they're learning these behaviors. So how important is it to have loved ones, have trusted other adults involved in some of these therapies to help people that are on the spectrum make those next steps that they need in their progress?
It is crucial. So we actively involve our parents and caregivers in the goal-setting process. And since each family has different priorities, values, or even cultural backgrounds, at Bright Behavior, we ensure that families input their direction of how they want the therapy to go. So that way we can incorporate and respect and integrate their family's cultural values into the therapy approach that we apply. And collaboration is crucial, not only just for parents, but for those other services like occupational therapy and speech, because autism is complex and it's a whole child experience. So it's not just about behavior, communication, or motor skills separately. So true progress really happens when all of us can come together and support the development of that child and ensure that all of our goals are aligned and reinforced consistently across every environment and interaction.
And it used to be too, Riley, that we referred to autism as simply somebody being autistic. And now we refer to it as autism spectrum disorder because we've learned more over the years. Our medical community, our behavioral therapy community has learned more about how it manifests in kids and adults alike. And so when you have these interventions that are available from young ages all the way through, sometimes well into adulthood, there's a range of different impacts that it has. How does early intervention help better the outcome for people that are on the spectrum?
Yeah, so I like to look at it as kids, especially when they are young, their brains are little sponges. So they are absorbing all of the information. Not only that, but they're watching their peers. And we're able to narrate what is going on. So not only the actions, but if another peer is feeling sad, we may express that emotion and label it for them so they're still retaining that information. And by utilizing their motivation through play, we can target a lot of skills that is going to be intriguing for that client to just naturally increase their skills.
Riley Fowler is with us from Bright Behavior Therapy in West Bloomfield. You can learn more about their services and contact them with any questions. MyBrightTherapy.com is their website. Again, that is MyBrightTherapy.com for even more information. And as we discuss autism awareness, and we want to ultimately provide the community here in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond with a better understanding of what it does mean to be on the autism spectrum. We've learned a lot as a community and as a society in recent years with new developments in the science behind treating autism and intervening with autism. But what do you and other professionals wish that people knew more about when it comes to autism that could help them also as a community be more supportive to our neighbors and our friends, our colleagues that are on the spectrum?
There's such a big stigma around autism, and people, might see it as like a disadvantage, or I've even heard a disease, but that's unfortunate. These children are very, very smart, very, very capable, even the adults as well, very smart and capable, and they have so much potential. And if we as a community give that opportunity for not only the kids and adults to exceed, they're going to thrive. So it is up to us to become more familiar and knowledgeable on autism, so that way we can offer the supports and give the necessary opportunities for them to thrive in our community.
It manifests in a number of different ways. That's why it is referred to today as being on the autism spectrum, because it's not a one-size-fits-all condition or one-size-fits-all lifestyle. It is something that impacts each individual in a different way. And so there are programs available right here in Greater West Bloomfield to help you and yours with support any way that they may need during Autism Awareness Month and far beyond. Riley Fowler is with us from Bright Behavior Therapy on today's edition of the Splash Live. Riley, before we let you go, anything else that we haven't discussed that you believe would be important for our audience here in Greater West Bloomfield to understand about autism?
If anyone's looking for more information, please reach out. We are definitely happy to help educate and provide additional services for those children who do need it. Or even if it's not children, but an adult, to guide you guys in the right direction so that we can give you the supports that are needed. We do attend local events here in West Bloomfield, especially the events offered through the West Bloomfield Parks. Often you will find our table there. We would love for you guys to stop in and see us so that way we can talk with you guys as well.
And it's a great time of the year as we recognize April being Autism Awareness Month, to get some of those questions answered, even if you don't know someone that's on the spectrum and you just want a better understanding, to ask people that are experts in our community, whether it is someone from an organization like Bright Behavior Therapy, West Bloomfield Parks and their program experts, or West Bloomfield School District over at the Transition Center and their programs as well. Riley, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Their website is mybrighttherapy.com. Again, the website is mybrighttherapy.com for more information on their services and to ask any further questions that you may have, to be more supportive of a community as we recognize April as Autism Awareness Month. Close to home, the Path to Freedom once ran right here through Greater West Bloomfield, a key stop along Oakland County's significant role on the Underground Railroad. Recently, local residents had a chance to learn about our area's place in American history from an expert and learned that our community's welcoming nature truly has spanned the generations.
I guess I really didn't know what was involved with Oakland County as far as the Underground Railroad. I was a local history librarian in Northville, and I know that Salem had quite a bit there, but I didn't know about Oakland County.
Local residents like Heartland's Al Smitley were some of the over 50 people packed into the West Bloomfield Library to learn about our area's deep ties to the Path to Freedom for enslaved people in the 1800s. Those connections weren't news to Orchard Lake's Joyce Herman, yet she says our local connections to the Underground Railroad speaks volumes about the character of Greater West Bloomfield.
Well, I've known for several years, and I was surprised at that time, and it's fascinating to me what an activists we were in equality and justice.
West Bloomfield resident Jerry Payton was especially proud to know his town was part of the journey out of enslavement, learning just how far our history connects to the American journey.
Yeah, I feel a sense of pride that that was the case. It's a lot better than a lot of places. Their history is not so proud. So, yeah. I would have to say I am. I did not think it reached out to this direction, but it's nice to know that at least historically we were involved in that.
The Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society hosted Oakland County Parks historian Carol Egbo, whose research into the county's Underground Railroad connection spans many years and explains to the history buff and the curious learner alike how powerful knowing our community's story can be.
The more we know about history, I think the more we appreciate what this country has been through.
Well, history in general is important, and that's what community is not just the people you're with, but where did they come from? Where did we all come from?
Well, we can gain knowledge, and knowledge is power, and discover within ourselves our own interests in this.
I think what you learn more than anything else is tolerance, that people are different and yet still have similar goals and desires, and it gives you a better feeling of working together.
It was a remarkable presentation by Carol Egbo from Oakland County Parks, their longtime historian, really painting the picture of how the Underground Railroad ran through Oakland County and how our community played a role in that. Important figures, important places, and showing you how she makes those historical connections as well. If you were unable to attend that program, you missed a fantastic seminar with the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and Oakland County Parks. The good news is you can watch it on on demand in its entirety as we speak on CivicCenterTV.com and see it playing regularly right here on Civic Center TV and on 89.3 Lakes FM in the coming weeks. Scan that QR code on your screen. That will bring you to our social media, where it also is posted on demand for you as well. Anywhere you're getting your content from here in Greater West Bloomfield, you can find our special presentation of the Oakland County role in the Underground Railroad. Civic Center TV's celebration of 40 years of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission and 50 years of 89.3 Lakes FM is well underway. All month long, you'll be seeing some of your favorite programs from all throughout our years of broadcasting, replaying both on TV and on the radio. Greater West Bloomfield is always showing love for its first responders, and that's especially because of the skill that they have displayed in their heroic service, as was highlighted years ago in the Civic Center TV Classic introduced by West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation Commission Chairperson and local resident Robert Brooks.
Hello, and welcome to Civic Center TV Classics. I'm West Bloomfield resident and Parks and Recreation Commission Chairperson Robert Brooks. I invite you to join in as Civic Center TV celebrates 40 years of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission. All 4 of the Greater West Bloomfield communities are served by the West Bloomfield Fire Department. Our team recounted the extraordinary efforts of our firefighters in the special called the Cedarhurst Fire, a Daring Rescue. Here is that program.
(911) What is your emergency? I think there's a fire. Yes. Where at? 5209 Cedarhurst Drive. Okay, and what do you have? Do you smoke? I'm upstairs. Okay, do you have smoke there? Yes, I think, yes, I looked at it just now. I think it's coming downstairs from the, oh God, I don't know what to do.
When you realize that your house is on fire, you need to get out of the building as fast as you can. With all the plastics and everything in the house, the intensity in a fire in a confined space builds very rapidly. And what might be something you can survive in one moment, in just a very few short moments, like less than a minute, could become something that you cannot survive in.
Radio's on the air with a residential fire, structure fire on Cedarhurst Drive, section 2804.
I was the first one there, and there's a lot of smoke coming from the back of the house. I pulled up in the front of the house, and I could hear a noise, like a banging or something like that. I originally thought it was a fire, but then after Tracy told me again that she was in the back, I went around to the back, and I could hear her pounding on the window, and she was really pounding.
Whoa!
Lieutenant Hewald arrived on the scene. He gave his initial radio report. By the time we got there and I got my vehicle parked and got situated, he had just completed his 360 and was given his secondary radio report. Again, another confirmation that we're looking at a rescue situation.
Oh, the smoke is filling my room now. Okay. Do you have something shoved under there? No, I wasn't able to find any. Okay. Okay, do you have clothes, a bedspread? Yes. Shove it under the bedroom door so your room stops filling up with smoke until they can get there.
As I came around the back of the house, the first thing that caught my attention was the fire that was venting from the door wall on the first floor. I did see the 2 police officers on the deck, and I noticed that the lady was hanging out of the window on the second floor, just down from the fire. There was smoke that was coming around her from the inside of the house.
It was real thick, dark gray. Sometimes it was lighter, sometimes it was darker, but it was just pouring out of that window.
Claire, can you hear me? I do have people out there helping you, okay? They're trying to get to you, Claire.
Radio from Cedarhurst Command.
Go ahead, Cedarhurst Command.
We've got active fire on the first floor. We've got the patient on the second floor. Charlie side, Charlie Delta side. We've got crews putting a ladder right now.
Message received, active fire on the first floor.
Firefighter Lyon was bringing a ground ladder to the deck and putting it up to the second floor window with the assistance of the 2 police officers.
I heard the ladder clanging as he ran around the corner. He came around from the east side, and then the two of us just started trying to get the ladder. The ladder was bigger than the space that we had, and the next thing I know, Josh is going up the ladder. He didn't even wait for, a second. Once the ladder hit the ground, he was up it.
Coming in from Battalion 1. Go ahead.
Battalion 1, go ahead. Message received. Patient's been retrieved from the house at 142.
Station 4 from Battalion 1 on Channel 1.
We started to wind the incident down, we reviewed the scene, and we talked to Josh about his rescue. And he knew he did a remarkable thing, but he was quiet about it. He thought he did his job, and that was good enough for him.
With Josh doing this rescue so quickly, and with the assistance from the police officers, it made the fire scene successful from the fact that when we got the call, it was a rescue call, and all of our minds were to rescuing the person trapped. As soon as that was done, we could take our crews and put them towards venting the house, putting the fire out, and things like that.
Josh Lyons, a fireman's fireman. It's been interesting to watch him grow up within the fire department, if you will. When he hired in with us, he was kind of a shy guy, a little quiet, a little reserved, and now he's a fireman.
He did a feat that truly made a difference in saving this lady. And he did this with quick actions and true professionalism.
When somebody decides to become a firefighter, we know that it's a unique calling. We know that there's risks involved. We know that there's potential that we're going to have to put our lives on the line, and we're willing to take that chance. We do that because we want to help people. It's a calling. It's a community service thing, and we're willing to do that.
The celebration of 40 years of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission continues online. Follow along on social media and enjoy television that's close to home online on civiccentertv.com. I'm Robert Brooks. Thank you for tuning in.
That's our show. Want to remind you that television that's close to home is always online on civiccentertv.com and across our social media. Follow along for all of our programs, including full episodes of The Splash Live in each individual segment. Scan that QR code on your screen to get all the links you need to our social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, and so much more. Big thank you to our entire crew, and thank you for tuning in. For our entire team, I'm Tyler Kieft, live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.